So here's the question I want to talk about today. What do you do when things aren't going your way? I feel like for me and for a lot of us, like we are passionate about minimalism and slow living and all of those things because we are trying to decrease stress in our life. We're trying to feel more peace. We're trying to really enjoy our lives. But there are days when life throws things at us or our emotions are just unpredictable and things happen to just make it seem like everything is out of our control. Nothing is going the way that we want. Nothing is working in our lives. So what do we do when nothing is working in our lives? The temptation, I think, is to turn to distractions. I know I'm like really guilty of this. I like to play games on my phone when I am not doing well emotionally, or I just feel like nothing is working in my life the way that I want it to. It's a distraction. It keeps my mind on whatever is on this little screen, and it keeps it off of the thing that is stressing me out. But the problem is that stress doesn't really go anywhere. There are a lot of better things that I can actually do to do something either productive with what I'm feeling or to just sort of like release those emotions after I have, processed them. Because here's the thing, like when we are in a situation where we literally feel like nothing is working in our lives, that's not like, okay, we're just going to quickly, process, validate this, process this, get it out. It's like, those emotions are overwhelming. Like that's when you're talking about like, oh, like I just cannot stop my head from spinning with anxiety. I feel so sad. I feel like I might be depressed. Like the emotions are so strong. You can't just go, okay, like I'm going to do a little bit of self-care and this will be gone. Because when the root cause is that you really feel like nothing is going right in your life, there's like real problems that aren't just going to go away after a bubble bath. So when I feel like this, I found that there are several things that help. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through all of them here. And I hope this helps. The first thing is exercise. Now, I find it particularly helpful if I can exercise outside, but that's not always possible. I live in a climate that gets very cold in the winter and slippery. Also, there's a lot of rain sometimes, and I just don't like exercising in the rain. So I do sometimes have to exercise in my house. But for the most part, if I can get outside and, just walk around or jog or do something, I find that really gives me some perspective and helps calm my nervous system down just a little bit. The second thing is decluttering something. Now, I talked about this a little bit in my closet declutter video, which I will link to in the cards, but like decluttering things really helps put my mind at ease. When everything in life is spinning out of control, I know that I can always declutter and take a little bit of control, have a little bit of say in what happens in my physical space. And so I think that's one of the beautiful things about being a minimalist is that it's actually a very healthy habit to be decluttering things. Like there are worse things you can do than just going, okay, well, I guess I am spending this evening and I'm going to declutter this closet, or I'm going to, tidy up this room in my house, because once you get that done, you will feel just a little bit better because you'll be able to see the progress that you've made, and like it's something that you can actually control. The third one is less something to do like physically and more something to do mentally, and it is to be kind to yourself. I've been through this very many times when I feel like nothing is working in my life. I feel overwhelmed, and then I start to think very ugly thoughts about myself because like if nothing's working in my life, then at least some, if not all of that is my fault, right? And so it can be very, very hard not to let those overwhelming emotions become ugly, hateful words toward yourself in your own mind. If you can summon whatever strength you have to make sure that you are kind to yourself in those moments, it's going to make a huge difference. Number 4 is go someplace you love. It might be a park. It might be somebody else's house. For me, one of my places is Target, or like, a farmer's market type of thing, or like an art supply store or a bookstore. Like I have a lot of different places that I love to go. Just browse. Like you don't have to buy anything if one of the things that's going wrong in your life is money. Like don't go someplace where you're going to feel bad because you can't buy anything, but go someplace that you really enjoy spending time and just get away from the situation or whatever the place is where you're feeling all these negative feelings, because I cannot tell you like how helpful it is just to leave sometimes. Like just go someplace else, get a change of pace. And it doesn't have to be anything super fancy. It doesn't have to be someplace you haven't been before. Just go someplace that usually lifts your mood. And it might not totally change your perspective or totally lift your mood, but at least it'll be a like physical reminder to your brain and to your body there's joy to be had in the world, and you don't have to constantly live in that state of overwhelm. And that one relates to the next one, which is make time to be inspired. If you feel like nothing is going well in your life, you might feel like you don't deserve to dream. You might feel like it's too stressful to dream because how would you even get to those positive outcomes that you're like imagining in your head? But as KJ Ramsey so beautifully puts it, only beauty can sing stronger than your sense of scarcity. Anxiety, prevention, hustling, those things can take you a ways, but they can only take you so far. At some point, when you have run out of all your other options, you need to make time and space to be inspired, to be filled with awe and wonder and beauty. When everything is going wrong in your life, taking the time to do this might feel like a waste of time, but it's not. It will do you a world of good. It's worth it, I promise. Just try it. Okay, the fifth one is to take care of something. This can be a plant, this can be a pet, this can be a room in your house, this can be your own body. Maybe it's the dishes you've been meaning to get out of the sink, or your laundry. Maybe it's your garden. Maybe it's a friend who needs somebody to listen to them while they cry, or someone who needs you to watch their cat. Like, it doesn't really matter what you're taking care of. What matters is that you are taking care of something. I mean, I feel like helping and taking care of things and nurturing, like it makes us feel good because we know that we're doing a good thing. But it's also a reminder that we're capable, and often it really helps us connect with either ourselves or others too. And then this next one is for when you feel like you're ready to make a change about the things that are not working in your life. And this one's pretty important, so I need you to listen closely, and it's just choose one thing to work on. If your love life's a mess, you're broke, you just lost your job, you feel like your friends have given up on you, like, I know that all of those things are overwhelming and stressful, and you may want to solve all of them at once. But if they're overwhelming and stressful, you probably can't actually juggle all of them at once. I mean, that's probably how you got to the point where it feels like nothing is working in your life. So you need to pick one and work on that one first, and then get to the next ones. That doesn't mean you can't be strategic about the thing that you choose. So like, for example, maybe you look at the things that are going wrong in your life and you realize that like, hey, like part of the reason that all of these things are going so badly for me is that I haven't been taking care of myself with my mental health, or I don't really know how to cope with these situations. And so you're like, okay, well, I guess I need to work on my mental health. I probably need to go talk to a therapist, but I can't afford that. So then, all right, well, what do? Then you probably just try to go get whatever job you can and pay for therapy as you can. Start getting that little bit better, maybe buy some books, do something, but like pick the thing that you want to work on. In this case, it would be like your mental health, and do the things that you need to do to get to a better place with that. Then once you're in a better place, I think you'll be able to see like, okay, here's the next logical step. But when we are overwhelmed with life and it's just like throwing problem after problem after problem our way, and we want to, make a positive change for ourselves, like it can be really, really easy to think, well, I can't do this because of this and this and this, and then I can't do that because of this and this and this. Just pick one thing and focus on that. And those other problems, yeah, they may serve as obstacles. You may need to do something to address it, but just choose one thing, focus on that one as much as you can, and then worry about those other things after. And then finally, this one is straight from like what my therapist tells me all the time, because I'm not great at it either, but it's to use your support system. A lot of times when nothing is going well in our life, we think that we're all alone, that nobody cares about us. And that's actually usually pretty far from the truth. The times when I've been having the toughest time in my life and I've wanted to isolate, or I have isolated, afterwards, like I realized that I missed out on opportunities to connect with people who really cared about me and who wanted to help but didn't know how. So when you're overwhelmed, just start thinking about like, who can you call who's a good listener? Who can you call for practical help with something that you feel overwhelmed with? Who will cry with you or pray with you or make you feel like you can do this? Reach out to those people, because those are the people who are going to be in your corner no matter what. Okay, we are near the end of the video, but before I'm done, I just want to say, like, it is okay. You will get through this. You don't have to solve this all at once, but you can if you are gentle with yourself and take it one step at a time. I wish I could give you a quick fix that you could just implement today to make your entire life better. But the truth is that I don't think that those actually exist. At least for me, the changes that have made the most difference in my life have been small changes that I made and just kept up day after day after day. I found that, like, when nothing is working in my life, I have to control the things that I can control and trust that at some point the other things will work themselves out. I personally am a Christian, and so I have to trust God that those things will work out. If you are not, you just have to trust that, like, things will get better. And it's not easy to go through this, but if I can do it, I think that you can too. So have a good day today, stick with it, and I'm rooting for you.